Welcome to Share Talk, the only podcast where investors come first.
Today we have Paul Treadaway, who's going to talk about Trafalgar Property Group. They're a property investment company listed on the AIM market. Morning, Paul. How are you?
I'm good, Robert. Good morning. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. For those investors who aren't familiar with your company, can you give us a bit of a background summary?
Yes, of course. I started Beaufort Homes approximately about 18 months ago, focusing on the assisted living market, which is, if your listeners don't understand that market, it sits between a care home and the old sort of retirement where you get a pool called. The particular Trafalgar Property Group saw an opportunity to in this niche market, so they acquired us approximately about 2 or 3 months ago, and since then we've been actively putting schemes together in the assisted living market, which is primarily aimed at the 70 to 75 plus age group.
So how does it work with assisted living?
So within each development, which is typically between 50 and, or our assisted living model is between 50 and 80 units, you will have things like a kitchen. This is a communal kitchen with dining room, living room, general living room for all the owners, well-being suite. What else would you get? Everything that creates a community within that building. So as people get older, they can call on those more and more, so that if you wanted 3 meals a day, you can have 3 meals a day, or you can just have 1 meal a day. So really it's aiming at the people that are active, primarily active. But as they get older, they can call in more and more facilities rather than going into a care home.
Okay. And I mean, these days, we're living longer, so I'm guessing that this is a growing market.
It's a huge market. At the moment, there is currently 10 million people in England over the age of 65. The number is forecast to increase by 20% over the next decade. That is a further 2 million people that will hit that age group. Clearly, there is a tsunami of elderly people coming over the hill with very, very little choice in the latter years, in terms of you've either got the old retirement or you've got a care home. This sits in the middle, so it's one of the things, there's 2 things that elderly people are really conscious of and frightened of. One is going into the care home, and one is running out of money when they go into a care home. At the moment, there are 725,000 retirement apartments, which is only 2.5% of the entire housing stock in the UK. That is straight from Knight Frank report 2018. So it's a real up-to-date report.
To tap into that growth, what's going to be the strategy?
So Trafalgar Retirement Plus at the moment has circa between 400 and 500 units of assisted living, either under option, in the planning system, or at the latter end of negotiations. All of these are within the M25, or most of them, 95% of the developments we've got are within the M25 corridor. So it's the affluent southeast, and there's a big draw on elderly people if they live, let's say, in Birmingham, but their children live in the southeast, they want their parents to come and live in the southeast. So there's a huge, massive market that's growing in the southeast for this particular product.
In the property market, is there any incentives from the government helping you towards this, or? Very
little, to be honest. It's a shame, because when somebody gets to the senior part of their life, if you will, you would have thought there was more choice. But even when we speak to councils, they actually don't understand what assisted living is, which is, to me, bizarre, because it's a fantastic product that keeps people out of care homes and actually gives them a well-being and extends their life. Whereas a care home, the average person will stay there for 18 months. When you own your own home, and you have the facilities that we have within our developments, it prolongs their life.
Definitely something that they should be getting involved in.
No, it's a young market of which it's evolving all the time. So, but it's one that we're at the forefront with.
When you say at the forefront, so are there other companies, rivals?
Yeah, okay. So you've probably got a couple. There's not many. There's McCarthy and Stone that have a mixture of vanilla retirement, which is just the old one where you get a pull cord but they also do an assisted living market product. But and there's probably one or two others, but there's not very many. I mean, if you take the whole retirement sector, house building sector in the retirement, we're building about 5,000 units a year. Well, Jeremy Hunt said on the Mar Show about a month ago that there's 1 million people going to hit the age of 75 in the next 10 years. So that's 100,000 people a year. So there's not only a huge market being built up, but there's a market that isn't being addressed, apart from Trafalgar Retirement Plus.
In terms of assisted living, what are you looking at with costs?
Okay, so clearly it depends on what part of the, our developments are on the edges of good upmarket quality villages and towns, if you will. So for a 2-bed apartment, you will pay somewhere in the order of between 370 and 450,000 per unit. But you have to remember, within the development itself, it's one of it's the main ethos is behind me getting involved with this market is that we create a community within that development, and with well-being, all that sort of stuff. So there is a slightly greater amount of money that you have to pay for that apartment than an open market flat, if you will, because of the facilities within that building.
And a better experience, and you're better cared for.
Yes. I mean, there's 24-hour care on 24-hour assistance, 365 days a year. So, there is a cost implication with that. And on top of that, the homeowner, the owners, if you will, have to contribute about £800 a month, which is once again dependent on where it is, but about £800 a month for their food and some domiciliary care, hour and a half a week of domiciliary care, and they can buy in extra domiciliary care as and when they require it. They need, sort of assistance getting out of bed or some shopping or, anything like that.
Wow. In terms of the homes, do you build those yourselves or do you acquire them?
No, we outsource the construction work under a JCV design and build, which is a JCT design and build is a fixed price contract with a builder, so that there are no extras or savings. So it's a very secure way of knowing exactly how much the building is going to cost once we actually start on site.
For a new investor, what would you say to them for investing in Trafalgar Property Group?
Well, a fantastic growth potential within the assisted living market. As I said, there's not very many of us there at the moment, although I do see other people getting into the market when they realise it. And a niche within a growing market. I mean, everybody, as we all know, is getting older. And the main thing is, for me as well, is that we give choice to our customers. There is only 2 choices at the moment. We're bringing a further choice to the market with the assisted living model.
Okay. Well, thanks, Paul. You've certainly explained a bit more of my knowledge of assisted living. So hopefully for investors as well, they'll get a better understanding of what you guys do. Fantastic.
Thanks very much for your time, Rob.
Thank you for listening. Remember to visit our website for more news and other podcasts at www.share-talk.com.